remember when this government campaigned, and most of its parties campaigned, about getting New Zealand back on track? Getting rid of Māori taking over councils and Māori wards, getting rid of Māori having rights over water at a local body level that we didn't like. That's right. Stopping the Treaty of Waitangi being used as an excuse for all sorts of weird stuff, even though they voted down the Treaty Principles Bill. And also they said they'd cut away all the red tape when it came to building houses and development of our economy. The Resource Management Act has been largely reshaped or done away with so that our economy can grow, businesses can invest in plant and equipment, you can develop your property without the huge restrictions and the inertia caused by mountains of red tapes and form filling. But often it seems you get rid of one problem and another is created. And that appears to be the situation which is confronting some residents or homeowners and businesses in Lower Hutt near Wellington. Lower Hutt has designated some quite important parts of the municipality as areas of significance to Māori. And those areas of significance, without really any consultation with the public, mean that there are new obligations on commercial and private property owners that require them to consult with people who aren't elected, being local Māori, and to satisfy, for developments over 200 square metres, to satisfy the council that they have consulted with Māori about the cultural significance of these areas. And inevitably, I tell you, inevitably that consultation is simply another way of saying you pay a little bit of bribe, you pay a little bit of backhander to the local iwi or the local hapu. They come out and say, thank you for the money. Yes, you can proceed with your development. It happens all over this country. It is the soft face of corruption that goes on in New Zealand, and it has destroyed many a commercial enterprise. Some, however, in Lower Hutt, and some business people have got together and said, we don't like these new rules and we don't think they've been introduced properly. One of the members of that group is property developer, Lower Hutt resident and businessman Shayne Hodge. He joins us on the line now. Shayne, welcome to the program. Nice to have you with us.
Morning, Sean. I'm going to pick you up. I'm not a property developer. How dare you?
Well, what are you? A businessman?
What's sorry there?
What are you? How would you describe yourself?
I'm a property investor. Look, our
property investor. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
I own a house in Lower Hutt and I own two commercial properties. In Lower Hutt that are affected by these new zones.
All right. What is your group called? The group you formed?
My Land.
My Land. Okay.
And you can find us at myland.org.nz.
Okay. Can you tell us, by the group's estimates, how many residential and commercial properties are affected by these new zones, these areas of significance to Māori?
Yeah, look, the private property line has been crossed by the Hutt City Council, and we believe conservatively over 500 homes and 250 commercial properties are now with immediate effect in these zones which have been designated as significant to Māori. And in our view, and it's been confirmed by leading counsel from Thanks Ogilvy, that these rules are not required, as you mentioned, under the Resource Management Act. And we think that the Act has been weaponised and willfully misinterpreted by the council at the expense of private property owners.
Yeah, but the council says it is required to do this under the terms of its obligations to give effect to the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi.
Oh, absolutely. There is absolutely no problem protecting Pacific sites of significance, like burial grounds, such things. These are important places, and there's no problem with recording and protecting those areas. But the areas of significance that have now been designated by council, these are large zones. They're not site-specific, they're zones. They cover Poroporu, all of Petone, Gracefield, Seaview. Those are the industrial and commercial heartlands. Probably most of it, actually.
Yeah.
Round about half.
Yep.
and includes all the commercial industrial areas. And then around Eastern Bays, it's Larry Bay, Point Howard, Bays Bay. So it's quite significant. And these are zones rather than specific sites. And the justification for it seems to be quite general. It's about that Murray hunted there, fished, walked, had crops and enjoyed recreation. And we say that's not sufficiently significant to warrant modern day review and limits to be set by and for Māori. And what's also important to note is that these areas have been in existence for over 100 years. So there's modern development covered by factories, warehouses, homes, fences, such thing. There's almost nothing to protect.
All right. What is the requirement if you fall into one of these zones? And people have had no chance to debate this, right? A whole lot of people got letters in the mail saying you're in one of these zones,
yeah.
right?
We just got a letter out of the blue to say that that our property was in a site or an area significant to Māori, but there was no explanation as to what that meant, how council actually arrived at that decision. It's apparent that end of last year, behind closed doors, that the Mayor, the Deputy Mayor and some councillors made this decision without any consultation with affected homeowners, and worse still, they brought it in with immediate effect. They said that we had no right to discuss it with. In fact, councillors are refusing to meet or hold meetings with concerned residents. And the only opportunity we've got, which is not a consultation, is that we can object through a formal commissioner hearing that's to be held at the end of the year. And the rules are quite nonsensical, Sean. I mean, if the land is deemed so significant, they've put in a barrier which says that it's only significant and only affects you if more than 200 square metres is built on your land. So commercial property owners, they can't do extensions, but residentials can. And for some reason, commercial has more significance as a result of that. And the impact on owners has been mischaracterised by council as being a zero opportunity cost. Well, the actual costs are quite significant. Immediate impacts on property values, the cost of resource consent, and of course, consultation payments.
Okay, now let's talk about that. How does, in your experience, a consultation payment work?
Well, it's concerning. We don't know. The uncertainty is unworrying. It's quite worrying. Council said it isn't responsible for the impact. But the real problem is the intrusion past our front gates. The breaching of property rights, there's going to be costly impacts. And we say that's flimsy grounds and evidence operating way outside what is required under the Resource Management Act.
But not under the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi, Shayne.
Well, that could well be the case. As I say, it's been very hard to actually get to the nub of the problem. We don't know what the problem was that was trying to be solved. I'm unaware of wholesale desecration of sites of significant to Māori. And as I say, that the expense that homeowners are going to incur, which we believe is on relatively flimsy evidence for land that Māori might have done no more than walk across 200 years ago, which has now been dug up for roads, pipes and wires.
Right. Well, seems strange. You've got that river development going on in Hutt Valley. Chris Bishop's been, strutting around saying, I've got the Melling interchange underway. He's your local MP. What does he say about this?